Good evening.
And welcome to Escaping the Motorhome. Happy Halloween from my two little pumpkins. Where are we going, boys?
The spookiest village.
The most haunted village in
the world.
Well, possibly the United Kingdom, but
The world.
It has featured in the Guinness Book of World Records for having a record number
Halloween.
of ghosts between 12 and 14. So join us on a spooky adventure.
Yes.
For today's escape, we decided to take a risk and headed to the village of Pluckley, the most haunted village in the whole of the UK, with no fewer than 12 ghosts.
Though that number is increasing. Horribly thin roads. You alright, dear? What happened there?
I think it was like Alice in Wonderland or something. I think everything got smaller and smaller apart from us.
We've gone back into Wales mode, haven't we, dear?
I'm getting flashbacks.
Getting flashbacks. We deliberately avoided a road named Lane earlier, and we've driven down another road which, look, it lied! Oh my gosh! It's lying and it is a lane. This is wrongly described as a road. This is a lane. We were just saying though, this area that we're in at the moment, about 5 minutes from Pluckley, it really is very, very pretty, and it's also very, very flat. And we're wondering if, as you get closer to the east, not that we're that close to East Anglia, but we're closer than we were when we were in Portsmouth, the land must all get a lot flatter as we head to the lowlands.
You can see why they filmed Darling Buds of May here.
It is, it's very idyllic, and there's just miles and miles of flat fields and lanes like this as far as the eye can see, and lots of little brick houses, Tudor framed houses, a great deal of public footpaths and character properties, listed properties. Now you are beautiful. Look at that electric blue plumage. He is just all about the show, even without his tail feathers. Look, oh, so we have a family, and look, they're spending time with their dad right by this rather beautiful oast house. Oh, I do love these autumn nights. Still warm enough to have a cup of tea outside, even though we're staying in Pluckley for 2 nights. I know it's super haunted here. Feels really cosy.
There's a lot of bats around here.
There's loads of bats, it's amazing.
And they're getting pretty close.
Are they not going to be interested in you? It's such a myth. Alright.
They're getting really...
It's a
I'm a
myth.
bit worried.
It's a myth.
Ow!
What's the matter?
Get it off! Get it off!
What? There's nothing there.
It's a...
What?
What's that?
Oh, it's just a gnat bite. Don't worry about that. Just a gnat bite. He does worry.
We stayed here overnight at the recreational ground car park in the centre of Pluckley.
We've recently woken up and it's been a lovely slow morning. We all went to bed very late last night. It was a fairly uneventful night considering we're in the UK's most haunted village, just outside St Nicholas's Church. The only thing I noticed at one point, fairly early in the morning, I had a cold hand, feeling like it was resting on top of my bedding, but I didn't feel scared at all. Daryl reckons it was him, but I don't think he would have felt this cold. But it was almost like snowflakes falling on my bed coverings.
I went out for a very quick walk round the corner to the church at night, and I have to say it was deadly silent in town, unlike the traffic from 7:30 this morning just outside our windows. But also there's no street lighting, so it was pitch black, and wandering around a church in silence and pitch blackness was a little bit scary. And then I heard some noises which I'm just going to put down to birds, but being on my own, I kind of quick march back to the van last night.
You did come back fairly spooked last night. And I used to love reading Usborne books about ghosts, but this is our plan for today. We're going to go around the sites within Pluckley and see if we can spot some of these lovely houses and these lovely churches, because they all have a story behind them about ghosts that have been seen over the course of the last 100 or so years. Some of them much older than that, some of them even from Tudor times. So we'll see what we can see, boys. So apparently in St Nicholas's Church there are two spirits that walk around. The ghost of the Red Lady, and then there's another one that's been seen recently and could be Pluckley's most recent ghost. Now we're going to go inside because there is a chapel for a particular family, the Dering family, and it's one of the members of the family, the Lady Derry, who is called the Red Lady, and she is the one who is seen walking around. She is buried in this church. Lady Dering died in the 12th century. She was buried holding a red rose in her hands, and her body was placed inside 7 lead coffins before being placed in an oak casket and buried in the family vault under our feet. They say the ghost of the Red Lady walks the graveyard of the church to this day. They do say that there is a strange dancing light that appears in this window from time to time, and also banging that comes from underneath your feet from the family vault. Whether or not that's true, we don't know. What I can see is some very, very old tombs beneath my feet. So, in the 1970s, boys, which is many, many decades ago, a group of people that wanted to look at the supernatural elements of this place asked the vicar at the time if they could stay overnight. They did, and they had a fairly uneventful evening. But they said, at least your dog kept visiting us. And the vicar said, I don't have a dog. Recently, there are reports of another female figure wandering the church. This could be Pluckley's newest ghost.
The main pub in Pluckley is the Black Horse Inn, home to a poltergeist. One landlady reported glasses sliding and cutlery moving of its own accord, while dogs bark at something only they can see. From the square, we continued our ghostly walk to our next destination.
That's Greystones. Now apparently around this area, around the grounds of the house, a ghostly monk is reported to walk the grounds because he died of a broken heart. He fell in love with a lady that lived in another house we're about to pass, but when she died, the Lady of Rose Court, that's right, when she died he was so heartbroken, the only thing he could do was to walk around the grounds and remember the happy times they had together, and he eventually died of a broken heart. The most recent sighting of the ghost was in 1989, when a passerby spotted the unmistakable robes of a monk walking the grounds nearby Greystones. According to reports, people often hear the sound of a man and a woman chatting along this road. Sometimes they hear a dog yapping. So Rose Court was built by a member of the Dering family for his mistress. It's just behind us now, boys. And apparently the mistress that lived in Rose Court fell in love with a monk from Greystones just up the road, and she was so distressed by this love triangle she ended up creating a cocktail of poisonous berries and ivy which she drank, and then she died, obviously of poisoning. Some say that where she was found, her body was positioned to be looking over at Greystones. These beautiful colours, and look, the children spotted in the back.
Ghostly white.
Ghostly white.
Which way are we going?
Where's Daz? Were you wearing that this morning?
Yeah, I always wear shirts.
Daddy wasn't wearing that this morning, was he?
I don't know. I was in bed.
It's a
I'm a
bit.
shirt kind of guy.
You never wear shirts.
Yeah, always like this. Come on. Back in the 14th century, this was a blacksmith's forge. Ghosts spotted here include a cavalier and a Tudor maid who would stand by the fireplace slowly turning the spit.
Excellent idea.
We stopped at Pluckley post office for some refreshments right in the middle of town, where I saw something I just couldn't resist.
Where'd you get that from?
Did you get what from?
The cape you're flashing around?
You like it?
Uh,
I knew, look.
Where did he buy it in that shop?
I don't know.
Where's your coat? Where's your coat?
Swapped it.
You swapped it for a
Don't mind
thin
it.
cape.
Look at this.
I think you might be a bit chilly, Daddy.
It's a happy cape.
Okay, whatever you think. Who are you, Dracula?
We continued our ghost journey and headed down to a part of town called the Pinnock.
Now on our ghost walk, we've been led to a bridge called Pinnock Bridge. Centuries ago, a screaming, howling figure surrounded by flame could be seen by the bridge. Now this is quite an eerie feeling to be sat here on this bridge as the traffic goes by, because I'm sat possibly where an old gypsy lady used to sell her watercress of an evening, smoking her old grey pipe. One night apparently the clay pipe fell as she fell asleep and her clothes set alight, and of course she was found the next morning, her charred remains in the river. It's quite sad and eerie sensation around here. So here we are at Daringwood, but also it is known as Screaming Woods, and we'll find out why in a minute. And just up there is a spot where a highwayman was accosted and was stabbed.
Visitors to the now named Fright Corner have witnessed the highwayman's last battle played out in the early hours of the morning. Others just see a lifeless body.
These woods that were owned by the Daring family are also named Screaming Woods because often as people walk along, usually when they're alone, they hear the sounds of harrowing screams. Now this is an old carriageway, so you can almost imagine this straight line with a horse and cart.
The screaming sounds sometimes send the birds flapping from the trees.
And it sounds to me like there were highwaymen that were busy during that era, and perhaps the highwaymen would stalk the carriages along this path. And I'm just imagining all of the screams of the women and the men that were being robbed. I wonder if that's why it's called Screaming Woods.
It's said that nearby the woods it's possible to hear the drumming of horses' hooves and the sound of a coach rumbling along the road.
We decided to come back to the motorhome for tea and mince pies. Not very seasonal, but we are about to start our pumpkin carving and toasting our marshmallows.
Dee,
Yeah?
you won't believe it.
What?
Ghostbusters are in town.
No way!
Where were they
It's
when?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Look,
really?
they've even got proton packs.
This is serious.
We are going to carve our 2 pumpkins and use the flesh for some pumpkin soup. So Phoenix is now making his design on his pumpkin, and this flesh bit here is what's going to go into our soup. You all right there, Daddy? It's an unusual attire for dinner. What are you doing?
What?
It's not your normal motorhome look.
I like it like this. I like it up.
Oh my goodness! You're becoming an expert at this. I'm cooking dinner.
What's for dinner?
Pumpkin soup.
Sorry. Vegetables? What do you mean vegetable?
Well, you're a vegan, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure I'm a vegan.
I've got my pumpkin, and I've got an onion, and I've got my garlic. That's really important. You all right?
Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Turn the light off! I'm trying to sleep.
What are you
I'm
doing?
expecting a very busy night.
We don't normally do yoga at this time of night, babe. Just,
Oh yes, it's a special yoga pose.
do you want me to make up the bed? It might be a bit more comfortable.
I might sleep outside actually.
Okay. Thank you. 4. 1, 2, 3,
You're in a
4.
row.
What are you doing?
Nothing. It was just something in the air.
You weren't eating those flies, were you?
Eating flies? What do you think I am? A bat?
Guys, I'm a bit worried about Daddy. Do you think he's turned into a vampire?
Maybe.
Oh, children, won't you come and join me?
What are you doing, Dad?
Oh, just having a few treats. We have toasted marshmallows.
Cool! You gonna go and have toasted marshmallows, Phoenix?
Oh, yeah.
Don't be alarmed at Daddy. I think he's just going through some sort of crisis.
For the little boys and for the little boys. Just a little bit of blood. Hey, thanks for coming. You know why I have no friends? Because I'm a real pain in the neck. Would you like white or white? Okay, good choice. It reminds me of roadkill. My favorite food on the go.
You're not having any, Dad?
This is how you put it on the stick. Ah! Now remember, don't crush your sticks at me. It's like a Ghostbusters. You never crush the sticks.
I think he just needs a bit more sleep. It's all that driving. I mean, it is UK's most haunted village. Maybe he's just getting into character. It's Halloween after all. So it's kind of more like a pumpkin stew. Enjoy your pumpkin soup and Halloween pasta with this guy. I don't think it's Daz. What are you doing? Why don't you just eat it with a spoon properly?
I prefer to suck.
Oh, I almost forgot. I did garlic bread. Daz! He's gone.
My watch is on show. I'm back.
Dead vampire in the middle of my motorhome. Why is there a dead vampire in the middle? Oh no, he's getting up. Ah!
I keep slipping in and out of accent. I don't know if you noticed.
Until our next escape, thanks for watching.